team, as well as the Tanzania Institute of Education facilitators, with whom you are very familiar with, and you yourselves. I kindly invite everyone to introduce his or herself through chat box for the interest of time, and I would briefly take you through what the today agenda is all about. Once again, thank you for coming. Thank you. As a background to the schedule of the community of practice, since we started in June 2022, we tried to discuss and share experiences on varied topics. Just to bring to your attention as a refreshing, we discussed about mapping core competencies for students and developing competency-based curriculum, and also implementing competency-based curriculum in secondary schools, the role of experiential learning in secondary schools, integrating ICT in competency-based curriculum. And in the second round, we discussed classroom-based formative assessment for competency-based learning. My today's session will be discussing about assuring quality in competency-based education through data generation and the usage. This is a topic which I believe we all would like to engage actively and share and learn experiences. The details to today's topic will be, we will have an introduction session about the today's learning outcomes, which is going to be facilitated by Dr. Fika. And also we'll go through teachers' experience on assuring quality on a competency-based education through data generation and the usage. We'll hear experience of teachers on how better utilize data and to inform decision-making in our education system. We'll be hearing this from teacher from Sierra Leone, and we'll also have a plenary discussion where we'll be brainstorming on topics of how can assist teachers in comprehending and making sense of the data in competency-based curriculum. This will be facilitated by Mr. Mando, and this will be followed by Sierra Leone experience on assuring quality in competency-based education through data generation and the usage. We'll hear this from John B. Mara, and then we'll have a bigger session for breakout session for 40 minutes, which is going to be facilitated by Fika and the Cosmos. We'll have brainstorming questions and the guiding questions, which will allow us, every one of us, to contribute and share our experience in terms of the guiding questions which our facilitators are going to provide us. And then we'll have a concluding remarks from Dr. Fika. And then finally, we'll have a post-survey, which you are very familiar with, which helps us to improve the sessions, in subsequent sessions based on your feedbacks. We are improving our session. So we kindly also invite you to provide your genuine, insightful feedbacks to the today's session. Generally, by the end of the today's session, you will be demonstrate an understanding of assuring quality and CBE through data generation and the usage, and also on the management of data generated and used for assuring quality of CBC. These are just a brief introduction about today's session. Then I will give the floor to the facilitators, Dr. Fika. Thank you. Back to you, Doctor.
Thank you so much, Hundesa, for good introduction. And I'm going to share the slides. Dr. Cosmas helped me to share the slide. As an introduction, that's right. This is our sixth session, and the session is about quality, assuring quality in competence-based education through data generation and usage. And thank you so much, participants, because in our platform, WhatsApp platform, you have tried to share different ideas about how to assess attitudes. And these sessions are in connection from the first session up to the session which we are going to discuss today, like the way Hundessa tried to bring out and even the outcome of this session. Because ensuring quality of data in CBC is very important, because we needed to generate and use data. And also we need to be aware on the management of data generation and usage for assuring quality of CBC. So today, is the agenda, we are going to have a very good discussion, and even from our teacher. But as we introduced it before in session 1, today I'm trying to remind you about our long-term assignment, because in order to assure quality in a competence-based education through data generation and usage. So in this, we can think, for example, about what are the factors influencing quality assurance in CBC through data generation and usage. How do you implement quality assurance in CBC through data generation and usage? And how do you ensure quality assurance in CBC through data generation and usage? So this is a long-term assignment. And number 4, you need also to prepare a simple plan to orient colleges on ensuring quality assurance in CBC through data generation and usage. Include the if you can go back, every session, it has 6 sessions, so it depends on which. So for example, if you are going to work on quality assurance, for you to work on this task. And if you can have questions based on these long-term assignments on session 6, please try to write something on your in your chat box so that we can see. So in this session, we want. So we wanted to brainstorm on these 2 questions. We'll try to brainstorm and write your idea or comment or question in our chat box. The 2 brainstorming questions are: do teachers generate and use data during teaching and learning process? If yes, we need to explain, and if no, we need to explain too. And also, you can think, since we started facilitating this KIX Africa 19 COP, also we can try to reflect on this question. As facilitators in this KIX Africa 19 COP, do we generate and use data? If yes, please try to explain. And if no, please try to explain. So I can give you 3 minutes to write in the chat box. And Hundessa, please, if you can give us music for 3 minutes when we are trying to, yeah. And also we are trying to put this question in chat box so that you can keep on working on it while we are listening to music for 3 minutes. Then we'll come back to share our ideas. Thank you. And use data during teaching and the learning process, and discuss it in our WhatsApp platform. So I think first must say stop sharing, and Hundessa, please put music while we are trying to ponder into these brainstorming questions.
Okay.
Salam alaikum. You can see Christians, Jews, and Muslims living together and praying, amen. Let's give thanks and praises. Baruch atah Adonai. Baruch Abba Yerushalayim. Baruch atah Adonai. Baruch Abba Yerushalayim. Jerusalem, here I am. Jérusalem, je t'aime. Jérusalem, here I am. Jérusalem, je t'aime. Israël, Yakirati. Israël, Yakirati. Ani oevotar Israël Yakirati Israël Yakirati Israël Yakirati Israël Yakirati Ani oevotar Israël Yakirati Jerusalem, here I am. Jérusalem, je t'aime. Jérusalem, here I am. Jérusalem, je t'aime. Je t'aime. Come on, let's walk on the Milky Way. Don't be afraid. God will lead us on the way. See, better days are coming ahead. And don't you feel desperate? There's a rainbow in the sky. Rastafari. See the rainbow in the sky. That's the way God writes. I say lightning in the sky.
Okay, thank you so much.
Rastafari.
So now,
See the
so much
lightning
better.
in the sky. That's the
Okay, thank you so much. I think we can share this about 3 or 4 response from Jordan and the Mboya. Please, I can welcome Mboya to say a little bit so that we can hear your view and experience. Welcome, Mboya, to give your views. I can see here you have a little bit so that we can hear from you, please. And then I can read the response. Mboya? Oh, John?
Yeah.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hey, can you get me?
Yes, okay. Okay, John, then Mboya will come.
Okay.
Welcome, John.
Yeah,
Give your experience.
Well, like in most countries, or Sierra Leone to be specific, during teaching, and teachers in the process will try to make sure they are collecting data. Some of them, but the problem data does not make any sense until that data is used to inform learning outcomes, and that has been the problem in Sierra Leone for the past decades, since there was no curriculum that can able to direct teaching. Just recently, 2020, when we tried to develop a curriculum that has encouraged teachers to conduct data, and even government, on to inform learning, because taking the data does not make any sense until that data is used to inform learning. And that, I think, was so some people are doing it, and why some are not doing it. But the problem is, are they using this data? In most cases, no.
Okay, thank you, John. And we can listen also to Mboya, and also we can read our response from our colleagues. They have tried to narrate, and most of them, they are talking about yes, but yes with the however. So I think we will read and come up to consensus later after having different experience from different participants. Mboya, welcome to give your experience about what you have written here.
Thank you so much, Dr. Fika. So I can speak from a perspective of having been a teacher and also a teacher mentor in classroom. And what I observe is that teachers, or majority, not all, but majority of teachers do use the data that they collect from learners. For example, after every lesson, and I'm talking from Kenya's perspective, after every lesson, the teacher is advised to assess the lesson, either by having some questions regarding the lesson, and from the responses that the teacher gets, then the teacher will be able to determine whether they can repeat the lesson depending on how many learners are able to articulate the learning from that lesson, or to get the concept. Or the teacher can, in other cases, plan for a remedial lesson, or for maybe a few of the learners. And if the lesson maybe is well understood, or the concept of the lesson is well understood, then the teacher will be able to move forward to the next lesson. So in that sense, I feel that the teachers, or at least majority of teachers, do use the data from lessons to inform future lessons. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Mboya, and everyone who participated in this brainstorming, and even others have tried to talk about as a facilitator during KIX, we are also generating as a comparison is being made. So thank you so much for this response. And if I can try to read all this response, we can try to see the critical aspect of data, which I'm going to share with my screen soon. Most of you have talked about the way teacher, and for example, Mboya, you tried to give your experience as you have been assessing your students. But all this, we can say that you have been talking, or you have been pointing out in relation to data-driven methodology. But before we are going to speak about data-driven methodology, let us share with you the critical aspect of assessment. Yeah, for example, the critical aspect of assessment is educators and leaders who see as this assessment as to serve different purposes, such as improving learning and teaching, grading students, program evaluation, and accountability. We wanted to see accountability on the perspective of teacher or the students themselves. But however, the aspect of assessment is the degree to which educators and others can understand assessment data correctly and then take relevant instruction or measures. This is the critical aspect of data. Another slide, please. Okay. So as I said before, the response which you have given in chat box, it is based on a data-driven methodology, because data on student learning for identifying and addressing learning gaps, tracks progress, and inform professional development. This professional development can be in terms of teachers after identified what kind of gap can be seen to our students or even to the teachers themselves. And the data-driven methodology is about the quality of student learning. Data created in competence-based, for example, district and school here in Tanzania, I can take as an example, offer educators with meaningful feedback on their efficacy and identified areas for improvement in instruction. Data-driven methodology also can take us to data usage is for building transparency, openness, honesty, and support to determine and expose biases. For example, here in Tanzania, we can use data to inform, for example, a certain district performance, and if they have any kind of challenge, so we needed to make a kind of intervention so that to track a student progress. So after giving your experience, and we know today that we are going to hear experience from Sierra Leone. And John, please, you can invite your teacher to give a little bit experience on ensuring quality in competence-based education through data generation and usage. And then Mr. Muhando is going to process this information on how can we assist our teachers in comprehending and making sense of the data in CBC. So before we go to this question, let us listen to our teachers from Sierra Leone, and any teacher who is in this platform can give also experience on how they work on ensuring quality in competence-based education through data generation and usage. Please, John, you are welcome from Sierra Leone.
Yeah, welcome, Figure. Yeah, I think you can share the slides for me because I'm having problems with my computer.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can, okay. Okay, so we, Sierra Leone quality assurance was present. The concern from people has been reduced based on the present drive of governments to improve education in the country. So for us, data generation and the storage, process and management is a step for us to ensure quality education. In fact, in Sierra Leone, the ministry, in fact, started generating and storing data, issues around quality education, and highlighted, and plans are made to respond to them. You know, and that has been, in fact, after every exam, the ministry will analyze the results, and school that cannot. Are you getting me? Yeah. So quality assurance in education through data collection, analysis, and management has improved learning really at present. In fact, this time the national primary school exam, it was our 100% passes of most schools. So that tells us, because before 2018, things were not like that. Kids we are not even getting 81% or 79% of passes. But based on the data we are getting from all those exams, and the ministry is trying to put those data together and try to improve learning and make infrastructure and reduce classroom size, and also ensure training for teachers, because sometimes the pupils fail not because of their own making, but maybe because of the teacher training. So all data on all those teachers, data on pupils learning, the government is able to do that to improve that one. So even now we have a plan to respond all those issues, because the policy and planning directorate of the ministry is always working to provide data through the annual school census. So at the annual school census, it looks at every aspect of the pupils learning, talking about their environment, talking about the everything. So as today, all forms of data is proven to be very important, you know. For all, like in other countries, the curriculum and research directorate is also working to assess units to generate assessment data. So the data can be used by us as ministry or government to improve learning outcomes and preparation for school-based development program, because with this data can able to help us, those schools that are doing well and those schools that are not doing well, with the data can able to help us. And teachers and other actors can also use assessment data to set evidence-based expectation. You know, when we are teaching our pupils, we need to set an evidence-based expectations for individual students or for classes. You know, when we concentrate on this less performance, we ensure that the quality. So some school students learners are very slow, but with the teachers' assessment, teachers' data to know who are going faster, those who are not learning faster, can able to address that issue within the classroom without even allowing the weaker students to continue like that. So because of this, the ministry of our ministry in Sierra Leone of Education have recruited about 160 school quality assurance officers. These are there to monitor and assess quality for continuous improvement, so that they have a tablet, they have tangerine that they use to go around and collect data, collect information on teaching, on the classroom, the every aspect teachers, and which will inform learning with the use of by the Teaching Service Commission, because whatever area the problems are discovered, that can be addressed based on the data at hand. Next slide. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Hello? Yes. Yeah, I'm not seeing the screen.
Yes, I also see that we have a problem. John, maybe you could continue just until we get the screen up. Would you like to continue sharing?
Okay.
Even if you can just do so generally?
Yeah, all right.
Thanks,
All right,
sorry.
okay. So, okay, so as I was saying, that through that, we have seen that we have been really trying to improve the system by continuously making sure those things are done by recruiting those people. You know, because of for the past, and there was no inspectors, or we call them now inspectors whatsoever. But we can see, so what, as a government, as a ministry, we see that data is very, very relevant. In fact, data is very, very relevant because it helps us to identify the schools that need more resources. With the help of the data, can help us to know schools that need more resources, and also learning data in conjunction with other dimensions of quality, such as context, teaching, learning, environment, and learners' characteristics are revealed the factors that most affect learning. So data can be used to identify those groups that are being underserved and underperforming. Once identified, such inequalities can be addressed. But without the data, we cannot. And that is why as ministry in Sierra Leone, we have been doing that to make sure we can see. So data also can be used to account systems for accountability. We know that it can be accountability for the use of resources by showing whether increase in public investment in education has resulted in measurable gain in student achievement. And that can be seen now. In fact, before 2018, the number of pupils, the percentage was very low. But due to the investments in education in Sierra Leone now, this recent exam result that has happened, we are able to get some schools have to 100% passes. In fact, only 2% that could not able to make it, in these particular exams that those for the primary schools. So this one will help authorities to make decisions, and that this can help us to make decisions, and based on that, that kind of concern is not like it used to be. Look, because as I said initially, before now, there are a lot of concern about how, because the outcomes are not keeping pace with the expansion of the education is reducing. So data collection and usage, the Tangerine system of data collection is doing well in secondary school now. As I said, all our quality assurance staff, they have Tangerine, which they use to collect data on previous learning, school and teachers, and which can able to inform the ministry adequately. So learning assessment data in Sierra Leone provide data on the status of learning. The data is used to monitor the quality of the education system and the student learning outcome. I think that's really has helped in the past years. And also, even classroom teachers can use this data. I know, for example, whenever I was in Sierra Leone, after the exams, they are going to analyze the results, and from there, those schools that fail to perform well or maybe underperform, they are going to form a remedial classes for them. They can prepare a material for them, which they will use to have some remedial classes for those schools, so that in the next exam, they will also perform. And in fact, this year, we have about 143 schools that did not get the 100% passes. So those schools are going to be helped based on that data we have received from these MPSC exams, the National Primary School exams, that can be able to use to correct those anomalies or those inequalities or weaknesses. So school data health also, even the school heads, they are also given the opportunity to use the data to assess the school overall performance. The examine student achievements and attain STEM performance, staff performance, and use school resources. So health teachers can use to monitor school practices, program, and policies to enhance data, and also not only the data, but also to inform learning and make sure teachers go by data. So teachers need raw data. Information on teachers is also needed, classroom practice, contribution to student outcome, and on their own performance, so that their supervisors can also see if this teacher is trying in this. Like this morning, there was a discussion on the WhatsApp group wherein some teachers can skip a particular topic because they don't have. So by continuous monitoring data, a school head can know which teachers are not really, have no knowledge on the particular subject. We are they can bring team teaching and able to help share their experience together. So that can also, that is what really we expect. But as I say, data also is not only meaningful for educators, but even parents and the community. Parents should be informed on their children's achievements, including their strengths and their weaknesses and any behavioral changes issues. And that is why parents and teachers can discuss and sometimes agree on to support students. Without the parents, the community, the learning also. So they have their own way, their own part to play as parents and community when it's come to this people's learning. And parents can support school improvement through parent-teacher association and school board. So with this one, they can also improve. So, and in Sierra Leone, we have the board of governors for the secondary school, and we have the SMC, the School Management Committee for the primary school, wherein they can come together to discuss issues around their pupils' learning or education issues around. But even though with all we have said, in Sierra Leone, there are also challenges, there are challenges. In fact, in Sierra Leone, there are some barriers to data collection. And so this includes some of them limited funds. There are a lot of limited costs, that is the limited funds to support school-based data collection, and delay also in data processing and analyzing can prevent timely release, because when you get the data and people, it's not only in the classroom, you can make use of it in the classroom, but some of those data information need to reach the stakeholders, need to reach to the parents and communities. And so if you fail to release the data in a timely manner, that data cannot make any sense. So the habit of giving out incorrect information during data collection process also is a problem. Like every year we conduct what's called EGMA here and we are seeing that for the past year, there are some areas of improvements. Pupils are improving when it comes to comprehension and other aspects, but other aspects, they are still lacking behind. And those information is being also shared with the media, shared with stakeholders and communities to see how their children learning can be improved. So data with all these things, but we know there are also sometimes these challenges, and also the media sometimes overbloats, or downgrade genuine data due to cheap politics. Sometimes use of politics, they can able to downsize the thing based on that. Also data access problems. A failure to communicate result to both the public and those who are in position to act. Sometimes it's very difficult to access data. So sometimes results are retained within this, they are still used by stakeholders and prevent the media and public from lobbying or for action. So these are some of the people try to minimize challenges here in Sierra Leone. So what we did is that we need credibility and acceptability issues can be addressed by when we involve all relevant stakeholders in the data collection. And so when it comes to data collection as a country, we bring all those educational actors together. So we all come together and try to make sure that data is collected and the data is managed, and also even the local capacity of some of to coordinate the body to ensure quality education. So if we don't have somebody who has capacity in collecting data on the education also can be a problem. So even the large scale as investment improving learning outcomes. So it does not go without government investment in data. So because even the teachers also, they are sometimes unmotivated. So I think the environment, the classroom, and all the things, the governments to make sure we do. So for now, though there are a lot of challenges, but this is what really Sierra Leone we have been experiencing. So in the subsequent program, we can identify a senior, experienced teacher also to share his or her own experience during data collection in the classroom. But for now, this is what really as Sierra Leone we have been doing through the curriculum directorate and the learning assessments units. That is what I'm always able to put together here for us. So thank you all. Hello.
Thank you, John, for the wonderful presentation from Sierra Leone experience. Dr. Fika, back to you. I think John has finished his presentation.
Back to Dr. Fika.
Okay, John?
Yeah.
Yeah. So are you ending your presentation, or you invited the teacher to submit what you have
ended the
presented?
presentation with the yes. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So thank you so much for sharing experience, and I think the participants we can have a question from this presentation. Please write in your chat box, and also we can have a platform to share this experience. But before we are going to break to our groups, I have the question for teachers based on this experience from Sierra Leone. Bring back a slide for the question. The question, yeah. We have the question before we break, and this session will be led by Mr. Muhando. We have the question for the teacher. As you can see in your platform, we have been go back. There is a question. How are we going to help our teachers? So I'll put the question in a chat box. The question is about the way our teachers are facing different challenges in assessing students. So the question was about how can we assist our teachers in comprehending and making sense of the data in CBC. This question is connected from what we heard from Sierra Leone. So I'll put this question in our chat box so that we can have a discussion together with what we heard from, what we heard from this presentation. So here is the question. In connection with what we heard, how can we assist our teachers in comprehending and making sense of the data in CBC? So together with before we go to from Sierra Leone, so like in that presentation, we can connect with this question. You are welcome, and you can share your information in this. We have been teaching, so we can try to give the experience. So to start with, maybe I can call Malawi, Ruben from Malawi. Can you share your ideas?
Hello.
Hello, Ruben, you are welcome.
Yes, in terms of the teachers, for them to comprehend as well as making sense of the data, or rather advise them to have mark books where they can be recording the marks for the assessment, as well as also producing the progress reports, which can be sent to parents. And the parents, after accessing them, they can be invited for the discussion that is face-to-face discussion. And at the same time, the data can also be sent to the donor partners. For example, if they are providing scholarships, they can send the reports in terms of performance of the learners to show how their beneficiaries are performing. And at the same time, the data from different schools can be put together to compare how the schools and the teachers are performing. In that way, it can also help to improve the performance. Let me stop there, over and out. Thank you.
Thank you, Ruben from Malawi. for sharing your experience. I think the experience which you have shared, I think can be the same as in our country here in Tanzania, where a teacher can have a kind of competition between one school and another, or one district and another, or one region and another. So I think let us hear another experience from Kokosi. Kokosi, can you share your experience, please? Anyone who ready to share? How about Mpande? Because this is the question, how can we Seke, please. Seke, please, Seke.
Thank you very much, Figure.
Yeah. Welcome.
Teachers could be assisted by using the data that they collect from the learning experiences. They feed it into what they plan for next lesson so that they improve the teaching practice. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much. So I think we can also share what we have concerning with this. Hello?
Hello. It's Mpande
you're
from
welcome.
Zimbabwe. Hello.
Oh, welcome Zimbabwe. Welcome Zimbabwe.
Yes, I'm saying, yes, teachers need a lot of assistance. Besides using the data themselves, they also need to have in-service courses in how to use that data. Because I think with the teachers, a lot of them, they are slacking. So they need a push. And for them to take up the CBC, some of them, like the Zimbabwean teachers, most of them, they say CBC has got a lot of work. So, you know, because of that, and they also need motivation for them to take up this or to use the data effectively. Thank you. Hello.
Thank you so much for sharing from Zimbabwe. Welcome. Please introduce yourself.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, my network is bad.
Okay. From which country? Okay, Mr. Muhando. Enea Muhando. Oh, Philemon. Philemon. Welcome, Philemon, to share your experience.
Yes, hello, good morning.
Hello.
I'm speaking from the Gambia. In order to assist the teachers in the use of data, I think they need to be supported on how to manage the data. Because it seems data management is a big issue, especially with our own situation here in the Gambia. Thank you.
Thank you from Gambia. Yes, it is the same. That data management is an issue, but how are we going to help them? Enea Muhando, you are muted. Are you around?
Yes, I am. Do you hear me?
Yes, we hear you.
Okay.
How can we assist our teachers in comprehending and making sense of the data in CBC?
Yeah. First of all, I must congratulate Mr. John Mara and others who have contributed. They've shown the importance of data. And then I ask myself, if you come to the point of comprehending and also making sense. What are the indicators do we use in data making and also in using the data? Hello, hello?
Loud
hear
and
me?
clear, we can hear you. Yes, we can hear you, Mr. Mando.
You hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah. So my concern is that we can assist the teachers if they know exactly what they want to use as indices, I mean indicators. If we don't have indicators, then it can be difficult. Teachers might end up maybe with looking at the grades the learners get and look at the statistics, say like the marks they get in the assignments they do. But my concern is, do we have knowledge of developing rubrics which can be broad in terms of the indicators that help us? This is my major concern. And I don't know how much we are familiar with the rubrics. In Tanzania, we have this experience of the primary education curriculum, and we have a rubric which carries 4 levels. But I don't know what happens with the other countries. Do you have particularly some of these rubrics that can be used in order to know who is performing what, and even the learners to know exactly what they are performing and how much they are performing? We have tried to have an exemplary rubric. I don't want to take this as a perfect model, but it is a trial that we have tried to take. Here, we shall read it from bottom up. I think it has been displayed here. I see level number 4, which is excellent, but I'd prefer to start from the bottom. Can you push it so that we can see from the bottom? Yeah, push it up so that we see level 1. Before coming to level 1 of the integrated rubric, we have to see that our students should be evaluated, or teachers should even evaluate their own work by looking at society, economy, and ecology. And also, we have to look at what we call 21st century skills, and also look at life skills. This is a question, and we've called it mirror number 1 and mirror number 2. Now, coming to the rubric itself, as you can see, there's the initial attempt. This could be the low grade or lowest grade. We have mixed the different taxonomies here, Bloom's taxonomy being one. We have taken also solo taxonomy. Solo taxonomy is the structure of observed learning outcomes. And then we have looked at something we call others framework. We'll put them together to get this mixture and get the levels, the 4 levels. So if you can look from level 1 to level 4, you find that we are looking at how they perform and what actually we look into assessment when we assess their work. And if really we are making data, this data has to relate to certain level of performance. If we are not sure of exactly what we are looking at in terms of performance, then it can be difficult. And I thought that our integrated rubric here can work as an example of what we look for. And many times people have looked at a rubric as a contract between learners and teachers so that they can know exactly what is expected of them, and the teacher knows exactly what he expects from the learners. Now, I am not sure if other people have tried to use rubrics, or we're just going with the tradition of giving marks based on what we use to carry as a quantified data. I don't know if you have been too vocal on this, but I just wanted to know how or what criteria or indicators do we use to create data for comprehension and for making sense? Fika? Hello? Hello?
We can hear you, Mr. Manda.
You can hear me?
Hello,
Yes.
we can hear you. We can hear you.
Yeah, okay. If you can hear me, I'm just raising my
Yes.
concern that when we
Yes,
create...
Cosmas. Can hear you.
You can hear me. You calling me Cosmos. I'm concerned about the criteria we use or indicators we use in order to create data so that it can be comprehended and people can make sense out of it. And I said, if we have rubrics, then we can be directed as to what we can look at and what levels can be looked at. And here I have level 1, which is the initial attempt, level 2, which is average, level 3, which is good, and level 4, which is excellent. If you look at it, then you can make your comments. Maybe I'll give a chance to Dr. Fika to go to the different people, so that we can get their response to this integrated rubric. Fika?
Okay, now we let us see. Thank you, Muhando, for what you have presented to us. And now I think we can hear from the participant on what are your comments about this integrated rubric, if really helps us or might need more improvement. The rubric can further be put in the is also in the presentation, so we can continue hearing from different people. But if you have any views, please welcome first. Dear participants. Hello? Okay, now maybe we can. Hello there. Yes. Welcome. Hello. Yes, welcome. You're...
Of course, indeed, it's a good idea, but still more there is need for the teachers to have at least a special training. Most of the teachers indeed use the marks, but the details which Dr. Muhando has used, I think that's a very good one, which also require the teachers to have a special training in the data capturing as also making sense of the data. Thank you, over and out.
Thank you so much for your comments. Of course, we need teacher training, and thank you, Muhando, for this clarification that you have made. And generally, we can see the idea of creating people and not focusing on things is coming up, because we see now that anybody can perform something. And from the experience from Sierra Leone, maybe Mala can explain to us how do they assess the students until that they managed to find out that almost all students passed. Mala, you are welcome.
I was saying in Sierra Leone, based on the learning, the teaching in the classroom, it is expected that after teaching or during teaching, you do an assessment, you do, and as you do an assessment, you collect data on faster learners and slow learners. And in the process, by the end of your lesson, we believe that if this particular topic that you have been teaching is not understood, then you can have the leverage to create another for them again. You can also teach that particular lesson again. And that's normally has been in, and that is the classroom level, teacher can able to adjust the lesson for maybe for another time, or also create another time also to teach that particular concept, and wherein PPs, those that are slow learners can catch up. Or sometimes it is required that teachers have a special class for those ones that are class. For example, there is a project here in Sierra Leone that is called Teaching at the Right Level. So these are people, they identify pupils that are slow. So it's not by grade, but it's about ability, it's about the level of their learning. So they will put together every day that we're going to have a special lesson for this particular group of people who are in the, let's say in class 3, but still they cannot do the class 3 work. So they look for them, it's not based on because they are going to put it by level, those in the level 1, level 2, level 3, based on your reading capacity, those on your basic fundamental skills, they can organize for them in particular. So not all school is doing it now, it's just a project, it's a pilot, but we are expecting that if it is done in 20 schools, and after which that can able to help teachers to do the assessment. But when also a part of from the classroom base, and let's say a national or a school base, where in this, like I was saying, the Teaching Service Commission try to make remedial classes, and where in those schools that are not performing more for the high-stake exams, they are going to make a particular program for them. They are going to make a particular notes, learning materials for them, which those slow learners can use to make sure they're able to recover the learning. For example, every year after the exams, all those schools that perform poorly, they are going to prepare a material for them, and they are going to teach those teachers and train them, and also give them capacity to be able to help those people, and also to be able to inform what are the problems why those schools did not catch up, did not make it. They have that kind of a massive poor performance. So when that is done, the Teaching Service Commission, which is in charge of the teaching profession here in Sierra Leone, can able to provide materials for those schools and for those particular kids that they are going to give them, they can take home and they can read, and they can conduct classes for them to make sure they are able to catch up with other learners. And when it comes to the national level, when we conduct these other assessments, and also those things are being tailored, and they are informed strategies to inform the curriculum and how the teaching should be. And in those areas, teachers can be also trained, though it's a challenge because we have over many thousands of, over 30,000 of teachers here. So for all of them to be trained is very difficult based on the resources. But for now in the classroom, we expect the teachers to teach. After teaching this, we're able to assess their pupils, and they must be able to identify weaker students and try to make a way how they can all of them in the class can able to catch up. And for now, that is really what normally we do here in Sierra Leone. Thank you, Dr. Fika. Hello.
Thank you so much for what you are doing in Sierra Leone, and I think that is an experience that we need to learn more on how we continue to ensure that CBC is implemented. And what you are showing us is that CBC creates people a possibility for everyone to perform, which is an important aspect. And of course, everyone has to live, and there is only one life and one world to live, and therefore our education has to focus much on those aspects. And now maybe we will be going into breakout rooms, and I'm sending these questions so that we can discuss in the groups. And today we are going to have 3 groups. And the group 1 will work on what will be your takeaway from Sierra Leone experience. Come, Fika.
Having problem with my computer. You hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
The task is we are going to work in a group for 20 minutes. And each group is going to work on these 3 questions for 20 minutes. And then after 20 minutes, we'll come back to work on a plenary session so that we can report. Each group can report what have you had for number 1, number 2, and number 3, so that later we can have consensus on this. Because we had a presentation from Sierra Leone, we had a discussion from what can we help our teachers plus rubrics, and how can data be created and used to ensure quality in CBC in your country. So each group will work on these 3 questions. So welcome UNESCO Secretariat to break us into 3 groups. Thank you. Hello?
Hello?
Yes.
Oh, we can hear you.
Yes, I'm asking you to help us to break the participants into 3 groups so that each group can work on these 3 questions for 20 minutes.
Okay, I think Gabriel will help us on that. Gabi.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, Vanessa. Unfortunately, I'm having technical issues. If another one of the hosts could separate into breakout rooms, that would be great.
So let me try myself, okay?
Thanks, Vanessa.
Okay.
I think Henok is here. Hello, Henok.
Luckily. So each group will work on this question. What would be your takeaway from Sierra Leone experience? What efforts are currently being made in correcting and using data on implementation of CBC in your country? And how can data be created and usage to ensure quality in CBC? So we are waiting our technical expert to break us into groups.
Vandessa, would you like some assistance? Have you been able to do it?
Yes, but yes, I'm working on it.
Okay.
Of course, if it's not possible to break, we can just continue with the plenary sessions because of for the interest of time.
Hundasa, should I try to make the groups? What do you think?
Okay, yes, you can, Marian.
Okay, let me try.
Okay.
Cosmos, do you want 3 groups or 4 groups?
3 groups.
Oh, okay, now I see that the groups have been made.
Yes, I have made it, but if not, you can.
Okay. It seems like there's a choice to join.
Yes.
Okay.
This is probably, yeah.
Cosmos, how should people divide up into the rooms? People have a choice to join room 1, 2, or 3.
Okay, if there's a choice, then they can break them to choose the group they want to go through.
But we should give them some direction, or maybe we should, Hundasa, did you select automatically or manual for choosing the breakout rooms?
You know, my manual, but let me close all the rooms and you may assign Marian.
Let me try. Sorry, everyone.
Okay.
Apologies.
It's okay, it's okay.
Okay, everyone, have you seen the invitation to join your group? There are 3 groups. You should have gotten an invitation. Hello, if you're still in this main room, you should have received an invitation to join a breakout room. You can join that room to continue the discussion. Gabriel, I see that you're still here. Yvonne too. I'm going to join my room. I don't know if you want to or not, if you want to stay here, but I'm joining a breakout room now to listen to the discussions. Hello, Jeanette and Frank. If you can hear me, you should have received an invitation to join breakout room 1. If you can hear me, then we'd like you to join those breakout rooms.
Not all participants. I think half of them are back to the main room. Okay, now it's
Yes,
back.
everyone's back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you very much
Missed
that
you.
everybody is back. Yeah, of course, today we have faced some internet challenge. We don't know what is happening. We are in a country in Morogoro. We tried to test initially, it was good, but then it became some challenges came out. But now let us continue to the group. Maybe let us hear from group one. What did you came out with?
Hello, group number one.
Yes.
It was comprised of Kenya, Malawi, Zimbabwe, Sierra Leone, Lesotho, and Ethiopia. We are discussing question number one. So far, we came up with the following points. Our takeaway that it helps in collaboration, and the collaboration is very important because the parents, once they're involved, they may help the learners with homework, and also they do a lot of contribution. Secondly, it ensures that learners do the practice of what is intended. And thirdly, engaging or involving all the stakeholders from the beginning to the end of the learning. That is, once you are using this, it helps to engage or involve all the stakeholders during the learning process. And thirdly, the community can also help because they have a certain role to play, just because they are going to support the parents and learners at home. So the community has to be sensitized about the CBC, digital data for data management. In other words, we are saying there is need for use of digital data digital gadget for data management, which will need to be adopted. And the efforts being made in Kenya are that every year they do monitoring and evaluation. And once this is done, they collect information from the learners, teachers, as well as the head teachers. So after that, they prepare reports which are disseminated to stakeholders. So the reports may help to identify the gaps to implement the CBC. So some of the gaps including the parental engagement in the issues of the data management. So these are some of what they do in Kenya. And all in all the countries, there are also challenges which they are there in order to ensure the quality data management. With the experience, after the sensitization, they ensure that each and every person understands the curriculum. And on the part of Malawi, they are looking at the part whereby it was indicated in the presentation that sometimes teachers give inaccurate information. So on Malawi, they say sometimes this comes as a result of failure on part of the government or the stakeholders to provide adequate support to the school or the teachers. But still more at the end, they may require the same teachers to give information concerning the data. So in the end, they give the false data since what is intended was not done due to lack of resources. For example, an example cited was that of stationery. They may be required to administer an exam whilst there was no stationery or inadequate stationery. So at the end, they may be required to produce data based on the exam which was not administered. The other concern was on privacy. Sometimes the societies, they emphasize on the rights of the learners, but at the same time, they force government to be transparent and accountable. So it is sometimes puts the teachers in dilemma whether to display the data or not. That's what was captured, what we covered in our discussions. Up to the members to add
maybe something which I've left out, over and out, Ruben, Malawi.
Thank you. Maybe one, two member from the group, you can add something if you have anything. Hello? Then if no one is adding anything, that is an indication that we have what is presented is what you all agreed. Now, group number 2. Anyone to present? Okay, then let me present myself because I was part of that group. One important, what the others presentation from group 1, almost we had similar things, and we all noted that in Sierra Leone experience on CBC is about that engagement of parents and the community turned out to be one of the very important aspects and making it important. But then learning from group 1 about the transparency and the privacy, I don't know, that I think that one needs to be further discussed so that we see how the people from Sierra Leone are maintaining that. But I think it is important that we both parents and the teachers become at least partners in ensuring education. And in what efforts are currently being made in collecting data, many, they said, including Sierra Leone, they are using EMIS to collect data. And of course, the tools that are used to collect data mostly are still remain to be examinations that are being given at the school level and the school activities that are being given. And in the area, how do we create data? They say it is important that there are tools important to collect data, and those tools should clearly be able to collect data from the parents, data from the teachers, and data from the school management, and data from the community on how they perceive the education being delivered. And also that collecting data might not be enough, but we might need some platform so that we can share the data. And at the same time, what Kenya has said about the feedback, we're trying to see also that be it school inspectors, be it quality assurance, be it anybody, be it the teachers, there is a need to have a positive feedback. That a feedback that does not make someone not to continue participating. Feedback should be constructive in a way that makes someone to improve. Maybe if there is anyone to add from group 2.
If there is no one, may we go to group 3, Dr. Cosmos?
Okay. Yes. Group 3, we look at all of countries from Tanzania, Lesotho, Sierra Leone, Kenya. We are part of that group. And in the first takeaway, we see that the lesson that was everybody agree was that all other countries can follow suit in the area of collecting data at all level. I think that one also stand out, most especially when it comes to parents and community, you know, as a way of accountability to them, because they also have the right to know what happens in the classroom and what are kids doing. And also, we talk about this one when it comes to those, there should be a modified system that can be used. You know, in data collection is different from the content base. In content base, the data there is different from when it comes to this competency base. And the being difficult aspect when it comes to data, because in sometimes data can be somehow different from one level to another, or maybe at this particular moment you can test a kid and the next time it can show different. So being so difficult and so involved an individual performance and competence ability, there should be a system that can will not be unbiased when it comes to getting data. So that data can be very reliable and accurate, so we no make mistake when it comes to, it's good that we have a modified data, and also when it comes to effort, like in Lesotho, now they are on engagement, continuous engagement with the public when it comes to our destiny, and also that one is key. So we need to inform the people, the community, all stakeholders. Continuous sensitization also is very, very key when it comes to this, so that that's the effort, like for Sierra Leone, as I said, and now we are, when it comes to capacity building for teachers, and it's going on under the Teaching Service Commission. There's a particular directorate which is responsible for that. And lastly, how can we create data? We believe that we can use the use of technology can be very, very good, because taking data manually is good, but also sometimes can be lost, and sometimes can have some kind of form of biasness. But we can, the use of support with technology, teachers can use that one to collect data on and which can be uniform in every other part of other communities. So these are the things also I can note. If there is anybody in the group who can able to share something which I've been in, so you can also go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. For the interest of time, I think we find out many of these we can continue sharing in the WhatsApp group, and maybe only what I can say, we find as a conclusion, the challenges and the issues that are occurring many times is that the link between resource, practice, and outcome must be understood by everybody in the system. And the other thing that is becoming clearly is that very reliable and timely data should be provided by data systems to assist the continuous improvement if we are to ensure that we have the so-called CBC. And the other thing is that we need continuous improvement aids in the elimination of bias and the inequitable practices and the testing of new ideas that can improve learning. Now we see in the whole the issue of resources in order to ensure the outcomes and the practice and the robust of data. We see that data can help us to improve much of what we are doing in the CBC. And we thank you for your participation, and back to Secretariat for further information. But these discussions, as we have shared in the presentation, everything, hope will continue in the WhatsApp and also in our emails if possible. Thank you. Back to you, Secretariat.
Thank you, Dr. Cosmos. We have also put the survey, which is the usual assessment we administer every session. Please kindly take the survey. This is a reminder from my end. Marianne, if you have something to say.
Thank you, Hundessa. And I just want to say thank you, everybody. This was a really wonderful session, and people had so much to say. I think it's a very relatable topic in a lot of ways. And I was very encouraged by the discussions that happened today. Lots of experiences were shared, and there was a level of enthusiasm that we haven't always had in each session. So this was a good discussion, I think, today. I thank you for coming, and let the conversation continue on WhatsApp. We're not done. We're just barely getting started in these discussions. This is a very short, it's 8 workshops, but it's a short learning series. And how can we possibly learn all there is to know just in 8 meetings with each other? That's why we have the WhatsApp group. And we really hope that you use the WhatsApp group to talk about issues, questions, concerns, ideas, inspirations throughout not just these 8 weeks, but throughout the year. It's really your group, and there won't be any cancellation of the group or kicking out of people. It'll be here until you decide to leave the WhatsApp group. So we saw some great discussions happening over the last few days, and we're really hoping that you continue having those, and share news, what's happening in your countries, share things that you read about in the newspaper, anything that relates to the topic, or it even is remotely related. Please do feel free to share. That is your group, and we want you to feel like you are the community. You are the community of practice. A community of practice is not a facilitator or a workshop. The community of practice is you. You are the community. So that's all from me, but thank you for the great discussions, and keep on going. We're just getting started on developing our understanding and deepening our understanding of these crucial topics. Dr. Fika, over to you for any closing words.
Thank you so much, participants, in giving feedback.
Some challenges with the internet. You are welcome.
Cosmos?
Continue, Fika, if you are online.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm very much excited about the discussion which we had today. As Mariam said, we need to continue on our WhatsApp platform to share different experience so that one country can learn from another country. Welcome to another session next week. Please don't miss. Thank you, and bye-bye, participants.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Goodbye. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, Miriam and Dr. Fika.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Bye-bye. Bye. See you next time.
See you, Nana.